Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Um, uh, See, there's a disc here that's going around, so I don't know whether it's actually recording as soon as it says go live or not. So if I was just looking at the screen there blankly, I do apologise. So I hope everyone is having a great, very blustery and windy Sunday. Although there is some sunshine out there now. Well, there is here anyway. Um, oh God, that's my dog barking. So the dog's kicking off and Ant's just gone out. So excuse me just a moment, please. Right, I'm back. So let's hope the dog doesn't go mental while I'm doing this. Um, so yeah, I don't know if any of you did anything around the full moon last night. Um, it was a full moon and a lunar eclipse, and I'm sure the last time I talked about something like that, it was really windy outside the next day, and I was talking about hopefully all this blustery stuff has helped get rid of all of the stuff that we no longer want in our lives or in our energy. I'm a little bit knackered. I just ran up and down the stairs. How bad's that? Right, okay. So um, so that was full moon last night. I hope you did some stuff around that, and also if any of you have been feeling the effects of the Mercury retrograde, I've only got one more week, and then it's gone. Yeah, it really affects me. So on Friday, I think it was Friday, I shared a post about something like signs that you're an empath, and it got some really good conversations and responses, as well as on the page that I'd shared it from Haven Wellbeing. Um, so I just thought I'd have a little chat with you about it. Um, Being an empath, a lot of people don't realise they are, who maybe aren't fully on that spiritual path or anything yet. Um, and when they read things like that, things just really start to make sense. Or it could just be that they are aware that they're an empath and they're struggling with some of the, I suppose, side effects, if you want to call them. So I thought just do a little chat with you about how you can get around some of those difficulties, because it's a wonderful thing to be an empath. It's really beneficial, I find, but you have to know how to look after yourself, because it can have some extremely challenging and negative side effects to it. So I thought I'll go through the things that are on the post, and I'll just chat to you a little bit. Please feel free to ask questions, comment if this applies to you, because there's ways and means that you can manage all these different symptoms, side effects, whatever you call, or blessings, because I think it's quite a good thing to be an empath, as long as you're able to take care of yourself and look after your own energy. So the first one was, friends often ask for advice. There's only certain people who you'll go to and ask for advice from, isn't it? And I'm not just talking about people who will tell you what you want to hear. The ones who you just naturally feel comfortable just chatting with. You tend to seek out those types of people. And if you're an empath, you'll find that all of your friends, or even strangers, people at work, they'll just tend to share everything with you, and that's a nice thing, because it lets you know that they feel really comfortable with your energy, and they won't even know why they're doing it. Just, I don't know if you've even done it yourself, you've just found yourself sharing and going, oh, I didn't mean to say all of that. It just comes out. But the thing about that, I mean, it's a lovely thing, but just make sure that you don't take their problems home with you. It's really important that you protect your own energy, because you'll find more and more and more and more people will come to you, ask for your advice. You've got to look after your own energy. Put yourself, if you're into this type of thing, put yourself a protective layer around you. Just imagine it, or depending on who your higher um, power is, ask them for protection every morning before you set about your day. And make sure that you don't absorb it, like I say, and carry it home with you. You've got to have good, solid boundaries are so important when you're an empath. Make sure that you've got those boundaries in place. To say, if you don't feel like you're able to give people advice, you've got to just say that. But certainly, emotional boundaries, putting them in place so you don't end up carrying other people's stuff around with you or home with you. The other one, pick up on vibes instantly. You just meet someone and you just get an instant vibe for them. And that might be lovely. It might be, oh yeah, that person's so lovely. Or it might be, oh, there's something about that person that just doesn't feel right. Or, you might walk into a room and this doesn't feel like, it just gives us those weird feelings. That's being an empath. It's all about feeling stuff that you can't necessarily see. So again, if it doesn't feel right to you, if there's something in your energy saying that this isn't right, this isn't the right environment, this isn't the right person, just step back, step away from it. Don't put yourself in a position where it's going to really upset your energies, and it's going to, your empathic side of you is going to absorb all that. Another one, drain from social situations. See, I'm not sure. This certainly won't apply to all empaths, because some people or empaths actually thrive from social situations. But if you're the type of person that feels when you've been, in a large group, or, I get a little bit like, I need to get out of here if I've been in a shop for too long, or especially recently because we haven't been in shops for a long time. But just people are wanting your energy all the time, or they're putting their stuff onto you. It can be really, really, really draining. Again, put your protection up before you go into any of these types of environments. Even if you're into crystals, carry some protective crystals around with you. Introverts also experience this. That's all right, Dawn. I don't mind. It's the video stays here for ages anyway, well, forever. So people might want to watch it later. What was I saying? Yeah, so introverts who may not be empathic, might get drained from social situations. So don't just think that if that's definitely you, then you're automatically an empath. It could just be that you're an introvert, because not all introverts are empathic. Highly sensitive. That doesn't just mean if someone says something mean, it really, really, really hurts your feelings. Although, that's not nice anyway, it's not a kind thing. But highly sensitive is to all sorts of different things. Changes in the weather, thunderstorms especially, other people's stuff that's going on, just whatever's, I can feel it's like if vampires in it. Yeah, absolutely, definitely get yourself protected with that. And if you want to, I can do a talk about that another time, or I can just speak to you on a one-to-one about that, actually, Dawn, if you want. But yeah, highly sensitive to all kinds of different changes in the weather, changes in the seasons, changes around other people. You pick up on that. Any type of change, alteration, you really do pick up on other stuff that can be draining. So it's really important that you allow yourself to feel these things, because like I say, it's a gift. You've just got to make sure that you're looking after yourself. This next one is a big no for me. Putting others' needs above your own. We're conditioned from being little, really, and that's depending on I suppose, your family background as well. We tend to be, certainly empaths tend to be more carers. They want to fix things for people. They want to, you tend to find that people who are empathic, especially women, I can't speak for men, but I can speak for women, tend to get into relationships where someone needs fixed. And then they put all of their energy, all of their resources into helping this person get better, heal them from previous wounds and all that type of thing. And then it drains them, and then the relationship breaks down. So this person goes off, much better person, for somebody else's benefit, and you as the empath are left behind feeling drained, exhausted, worn out. That's not a good thing to do at all. We're also very good at, as a parent, constantly putting your child, and I'm not saying we shouldn't put our children's needs before us, of course we should, but even when they're adults, really having difficulty saying no to someone, always not speaking up about what your own wants and needs are, and always putting other people before yourself. One of my favourite sayings is, I felt the strength. What was that? I wonder what was that about, Dawn? About feeling the strength? If you could just add to that. Yeah, putting others, you cannot pour from an empty cup, right? That's my favourite saying. If your cup's empty, you cannot possibly. The solar eclipse, fantastic. The lunar eclipse this morning, yeah, brilliant, excellent. Um, so yeah, you can't, if your energy is rock bottom, there is absolutely no way that you can help other people. You just can't. It's like, if you've got a battery that's only running on 50%, it's not going to put out 100%, is it? It's so important that you meet your own needs and look after yourself. Self-care is so, so, so important, and I talk about that a lot. That'll definitely help you with that draining side of being an empath. If you're able to it's down to boundaries. Just You've got to put yourself first. You've got to put those boundaries in. You've got to learn to say no, or you've got to learn to say what I want. And you've got to take time out. Like I said before, when I went to Sammy Ling, the Buddhist monastery place, there's a guy there was doing stuff around yoga and breathing and all that type of thing, and he was saying it's in everybody else's best interest if you put yourself first at times, because you're a much better person to be around. You're much happier, you're much calmer, you have much more compassion. So just do that. It's so important. Another thing, a human lie detector. We can sniff out that BS anywhere, like from anyone, anytime. Kids especially think they've got one over on you. Absolutely not. I mean, I've been caught out a couple of times, or in relationships or whatever. You just know. You've got an excellent gut instinct. Especially if you're a water sign and an empath, you just know when someone's talking crap. You know when someone's lying to you. You might not know exactly what it is that's wrong, but you just know. Trust that. And it can be really, really frustrating, that somebody's possibly even trying to gaslight you, and you know for a fact that they're lying. It could be somebody at work, or just something's off. We're really, really good at detecting BS, and we're really good at just knowing when something's wrong and using our gut instinct. I'm probably going on a little bit, yeah. News is too painful. Absolutely. I remember first experiencing it the worst when it was that Manchester Arena bombing. I cried every day. I was doing the foolish thing of every morning turning my phone on before I'd even gotten out of bed, and it was all there, and it was setting me up for the day. So upset, really feeling what it must have been like for those people who are scared watching the videos. You've just got to limit your screen time. Absolutely, there's loads of psychology around that. You have to limit what you're exposing yourself to, because that's really dangerous. That's for anyone, not just empaths, but especially empaths. What else? Overthinking everything. Yeah, definitely. Again, I don't think this is necessarily just in relation to being an empath. I think lots of people, especially who have anxiety, overthink things all the time. I can't see these messages aren't scrolling up now. Sorry, give us a second. Yeah, definitely a lie detector. Yeah. Right, overthinking everything. I've talked about this with that Brené Brown stuff. If you remember, the story we tell ourselves, right? Something will happen, and an empath or just a regular overthinker will just create all sorts of stuff in their head about what the things happened, what might happen, what could happen, and just there's a difference between being analytical, which I think is a good thing, especially when it comes to making decisions. But overthinking everything is so draining, and being an empath, that is so difficult. Again, you've just got to learn to just stop your thinking. As soon as these intrusive thoughts are there, stop your thinking. Just take a step back and try and either put that for another time, like I say, giving yourself a worry time when you can overthink things, or just be like, right, okay, I'm making these stories up in my head. What I need to do is just go straight to the root and ask, and just get in there and ask those questions instead of harming yourself, really, because you can that'll affect your sleep, it'll affect your concentration, all that type of thing. So please learn to not overthink. That's a massive thing, but again, not just for empaths. Adverts make you cry. And music and all that type of stuff. It's the music that gets you, isn't it? I'm a sucker for this. But for me, it's definitely the music in adverts as well as what the advert actually is. It's just being a sensitive soul. I don't know if that would be something that you would want to even protect yourself from, because I think it's lovely. But if it is something that you want to change, then maybe, just put that put that when you catch yourself getting emotional, just either turn it over or just step back from it, like emotionally, like put your logical brain in instead. But I think it's lovely having a little sob at the advert, like not crying, but my eyes fill up and that, and I don't want anyone to see. Like being a great listener, that goes in with people wanting to come and talk to you. But being a great listener, there's a difference between listening and hearing, but that's a whole different chat. A lot of people think that they're a really good listener, and they're not. But empaths are. They just pick up on things, that the unsaid information as well, and that's not making assumptions. You just know if somebody's saying something, you just feel it, you just know it. I can't describe how, you just know it, that there's something else is going on. You're really able to read between the lines. You're really able to pick up on all those other cues and facial expressions. You're really good at reading body language. That's genuine, real good listening. Empaths are fantastic at that. Crying when others cry. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that, but I do think that's something that can be helpful and a hindrance when somebody else is crying. It's great to show that empathy, and that, that let them know that you're there with them. But you have to make sure that you've got yourself in check as well. There's like, you can be triggered by what somebody else is saying for something in your own life that you haven't dealt with, and that makes you cry. That's not healthy. That's something that you really need to work on. But getting upset when other people get upset, and just to show that you're there with them, and you're there to support them, can be a lovely thing. But be careful as well. If the other person is upset in front of you and you start crying, they might feel a bit guilty about that, and then that they've upset you. So it's a lovely thing, but just be very mindful about, again, how much you're letting other people absorb into your energy field, and how healthy that is for you when that conversation's gone. Because if you're going to really struggle with that, then that's something that you really need to work on. Again, with just recognizing it early, trying to get logical instead of emotional, and having some protective, whatever, crystals, energy, whatever. So yeah, so just be careful with crying when others cry. It's something that I've had to teach myself not to do, for those reasons. Plus, because of the job that I used to have before, it was important for me as an empath in that job. It was quite draining, and I really had to work on a lot of these things. So feeding off others' energies, a bit like what I said before. Like, God, I know what Dawn said. Vampires just absolutely drain you. But that can work the other way around. You just be around people and they're absolutely buzzing, and you just can't help yourself but be uplifted by them. But when the people who I call them mood hoovers or emotional vampires, that can be really, really draining for an empath. Again, you've got to be able to spot it early. You've got to put your protection in, whatever, however you use that. But that can be exceptionally draining for an empath. The other one was worrying about what others think. Again, this is not specific just for empaths. This is what a lot of people struggle with. People who have confidence issues, anxiety issues. So not just empaths. And I don't, as an empath myself, I don't necessarily worry about what others think. I used to, though, mind. I have to admit I used to, but that's something that I've really, really worked on. And as I think about what other people think about you, is nobody's business but theirs. Like, and you have to think as well about who these people are, who you think have opinions of you. Unless it's someone you actually value and care about, do you really care what they think about you? Because what you also have to think about is that other people's judgments of you are quite often a reflection of themselves. So you just do you. Try not to worry about what other people think about you. It's a skill that you can't just learn from a bit of advice on a video, but it's absolutely a skill. That's something that I definitely had to work on, but not just from being an empath. I think for me that was come from a place of anxiety and a lack of confidence. So another one is feel everything deeply. You get really affected by all sorts of things, and not just like, oh, isn't that sad? Mood hoovers, and I love that word. It's not just you don't just think, oh, wasn't that terrible? Like, you really feel it. Like, this is another thing about, not watching the news so much, limiting yourself to social media, not getting too involved in everybody else's stuff, because you really, really feel it. It's like you'd be devastated by stuff in a nice way as well. Like yesterday, I posted, I think it was on my private page, a thing about a tribe in Africa, a positive thing about how they treat people, about how the mom learns the baby song before the baby's even been conceived, and it teaches it to all of the tribe. Oh, it was just, yeah, I was in tears. It was lovely, so nice. But like, there was no need to get that emotional over something. You've just got to like, because your emotions are all over the place if you're not able to keep them in check, being an empath. Which is the next thing, having many highs and lows. That's unhealthy for you. It's unhealthy for your hormones, your physical body, never mind just your emotional self. It's so unhealthy to be constantly up and down. This is why it's really important to protect your energy, to know, to be able to be emotionally and energetically self-aware enough to be able to spot this stuff really early and do something about it. Because it can be, it is, and I'm not going to say it can be, it is absolutely draining. It's damaging to your body, it's damaging to your psyche, it's damaging to your emotional well-being. I'm not saying that life never has them, but when you're an empath and you're picking up on all this other stuff from the world we live in, from the people we meet, from the stuff we're exposed to on social media, we've got to be able to limit our exposure to that type of stuff. Natural healer. So, before when I was saying about people just tend to come and tell you their problems, sometimes you don't even have to say anything, right? And they'll walk away feeling much better, because while you've been standing there listening to them, you've been giving them an energy transaction. Like, they're offloading onto you, and if you're a natural healer, it just comes out of you anyway. You don't have to speak, you don't have to say anything. This stuff just happens. These transactions just happen without any effort. Again, that's fantastic as long as you're aware that you're not being totally drained by your emotional vampires and your mood hoovers. Just be aware of your energy. Give yourself an energy check a couple of times a day, definitely on a morning though, and put yourself some protection around you. I haven't been doing that so much recently, and I've been really, really feeling it. So I need to practice what I preach, definitely. Um, Another one, treat pets like humans. I absolutely do this. I talk to my dogs like they're actually real, and I even have conversations with my staffy. I really do. I know what he's thinking. I'm really attuned to my other dog. I just know what he's feeling, and I know what he wants. Because he's a bit of a, a challenged dog, shall we say. And I just feel like I get him and I understand him. It's weird, like how you can just connect with an animal like that, and you're much more likely to be able to do that if you're an empath. We're nearly there. I didn't think this was going to take this long, so thanks, Dawn, for for staying with us. Um, right, your emotions have made you physically ill. Again, I don't think that this is just specific for empaths, although I do think that you're more likely and more to experience this more often. We get so caught up, so drained. Our emotions can go up and down, like we've just talked about, and that does make you physically ill. Kind of like what I was saying about your highs and lows before. Things that happen in your mind and in your emotions do have a physical impact on you, because it affects levels of cortisol, adrenaline, all sorts of stuff, and it has a huge impact on stress levels, sleep, just everything basically, because these hormones just flood your body and it impacts your organs. So if you're not able to keep your emotions in check, your energy levels sorted, it will eventually have a physical impact on you. It's so important that we do that as empaths. I'm not too sure on this next one. Your love is over the top, right? I don't just think that that's for empaths. I don't even know if empaths are more likely to do that, or if it's just that some empaths can train themselves to not do that. For me, when someone's really over the top with their love, and being really open and really given with it, it's 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 a little bit of a worry, because to me it's like, I mean, it's all loving and giving, and you can love your friends. Hi, Laura. um oh, that's lovely. Dawn, making you smile. um so yeah, so when someone's so giving and so open with their love and their heart chakra, right, that can be a lovely thing as long as they've got their shit together, sorry to swear. um and it's not coming from a place of the negative type of vulnerability, you know, the one that's like, I'm going to give you all my love, and I want you to like to need us. You've just got to be careful with that. You know, it's a difficult one, because I do think that that comes from a place of vulnerability, a place of that there's healing need to be done, but you can be very, very loving and giving as long as you've got your shit together. That, for me, that's a big difference. And I don't know if that's just about empaths or just people who have stuff to work on and stuff to deal with. Um, it's always for me quite worrying when someone's overgiving and oversharing, with their stuff, with their heart, with their emotions, because you know there are some not very pleasant people out there who will take advantage of that. I remember having some Reiki once, and the Reiki master said, "Oh, your heart chakra is really, really open. It's a bit too open." And I remember thinking, I get that, but I didn't think that that was a bad thing, because I was like in a really good place, and I just wanted to share all of this, like just put more love out there in the world. It's a bit, I mean, obviously this was before lockdown. I mean, just put more love out there. We need more people out there who are loving and smiling and giving and all that type of thing. But as long as it's not coming from a place within them that they need some healing and some fixing, and are giving it to other people to try and reciprocate, because it doesn't work out like that, and it leaves them a little bit more damaged. So yeah, so we love being over the top. I don't think that's necessarily just about empaths, but you know, somebody might disagree, but that's all right. We're nearly there. Prefer, oh, there's Buddy. That's the one who's a little bit special. Oh, it's weird. There. Oh, I shouldn't have said special, but he is. He's the one that I'm really, really sensitive to. Bless him. It's a good job, because someone needs to be. But anyway, back to the conversation. Um, you prefer deep conversations over small talk. Um, my daughter has been very spiritual for a long time, and before I mean, I kind of have, but I didn't get right into it until a couple of years ago. And before that, whenever we were chatting, it was always deep stuff, like, and I was like, for God's sake, man, can we not just chat crap, like, you know what I mean? But it was always really heavy. Well, it felt at the time really heavy, really deep stuff, and I'm like, I just wanted to come for a bit of a break and a cup, and you know, but I get it. I absolutely get it. Like, no one's small talk can be quite draining. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, you know, especially stuff about when you get into conversations about celebrity, fame, all that type of stuff. It's just not interesting to someone who's an empath. Certainly not someone who's completely, you know, on the spiritual path. They prefer real deep conversations, and I'm like that now. It's good to have a laugh about stuff. Don't get us wrong; it's all not always dead serious. But if you are irked quite a bit by chit chat and stuff and gossip, and you want to really get down to talking about like spirituality, the environment, the cosmos, all that type of stuff, chances are you are without a doubt an empath. We love that stuff. I do. See, I'm getting excited about it. Last one. Thanks for sticking in. You absorb emotions. I kind of covered that already, but yeah, absolutely, you have to protect yourself from that, because you can carry all sorts home with you. In my first job, I remember working in like substance misuse and domestic violence, and I can remember this one woman in particular who I used to work with. Her circumstances were really, really upsetting and difficult, and you know, I knew that what she was going home to every day. So I just had to put a plan in. I would never see her on a Monday, and I would never see her on a Friday. And I used to have to imagine going to work with a coat on, and then what, everything sticks to this coat throughout the day, all these other people's emotions and all this stress and stuff. And when I left work, I would physically, but it like obviously not for real, take off this imaginary coat and just leave it and walk out of the building. And that was the only way initially that I could get through that. Just other people's emotions stick to us like Velcro. I was going to say Teflon, but that's completely the opposite. Like Velcro, we've got to learn to not allow that to happen. If you're an empath, that is so just sucks the soul out of you, basically. So that was a little chat about well, not a little chat, quite a chat about the upside and the challenging sides, would I say, of being an empath. It's an absolutely wonderful, wonderful skill to have, gift, I would say, rather than skill. Um, but you must look after yourself. Like we've talked about, asking for protection from whoever your higher power is, using crystals, just giving yourself energy checks, doing self-care, self-love to fill your cup, anything like that, putting boundaries in, absolutely, whether that be emotional, physical, whatever, just putting those boundaries in place. You have to look after yourself. um you know I think, I don't know whether talking about boundaries is another conversation altogether, because there's a lot about that. It's not just as easy to say, oh, you have to learn to say no. Well, we'll probably know that already. It's having the confidence to be able to do that. But the only people who don't want you to put those boundaries in are the people who are benefiting from the fact that you've got either weak boundaries or no boundaries. And they will try and keep things the way that they want it to for their own benefit. But they're not the type of people that you need to be pleasing, because they haven't got your best interest at heart. So I'll leave it there. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I hope that you had some fantastic manifestations, and releasing some stuff away with the wind, and really we've got a great July coming up as well, just for stuff that's happening out there in the cosmos. Like I said, I don't know if any of you have seen, if you are interested in the astrology stuff, I shared something to my page the other day. The woman who added it's very basic introduction, but you learn loads. She is starting a new course on the 13th, I think it is, possibly. And it's every day, an hour for a day, for 5 days, and you learn so much. It's absolutely fantastic. So if you're interested in that, pop over to her page, Fun with Astrology, or Tribe of Astro Navigators, I think is the group. Have a look at that. And also remember that my books are now open as of tomorrow, and throughout July it's pay as you feel. I just thought, why not give something back? I think we've had a really tough time recently, and people will definitely be feeling the financial strain now. So yeah, pay as you feel. Just give us a message if you're interested in anything, and hopefully I'll catch up with you all soon. Have a great day. Take care.